Hello all and welcome to another ZoidRush episode. But before we get into today's topic, I just wanted to thank the Reddit community really quickly from my last video, consumerism video. It was a great response. If it be constructive criticism within the Reddit forum itself and the comments down below or messages within my Reddit inbox, I appreciate all of that, and especially a big thank you to Narzies with an S. Thank you all for the feedback, no matter what it be, like I said, negative or positive. I appreciate the support. Being a new YouTuber, it was overwhelming to have like 100 views come from Reddit. I appreciate it. Actually, 200 views at this moment. But I really do appreciate all the comments and I appreciate the support. And to the people that subscribed, I hopefully keep making good content and keeping you here. So thank you all very much. But today's topic, we're going to be talking about Twitch. And everybody's probably like, oh boy, he's going to be talking about the copyright claims that Team 2G is doing with their sub wars. Yay! Yes and no. We'll talk about that a little bit, but that's not the ultimate ordeal of this topic. I wanted to talk about Twitch more in general. Nothing really too like, oh my God, we should be worried about this ordeal, but some interesting things, some interesting growth that I've seen in Twitch that I wanted to kind of point out and kind of, keep on the same path that Twitch is going, and it's a positive direction. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like we're kind of straying in some paths, one way or another, and I'll talk about that a little bit. You may or may not agree, and that's fine, understandable. Not everybody's going to agree with my opinion. But let's talk about Twitch first. So if I told you 7 years ago, just to make it safe, let's talk about 10 years ago. I said, hey, you're going to become a famous streamer. And whoever I was talking to would have looked across at the table to me while we were eating lunch. Their bread would have fallen out of their mouth and they would have been like, um, streaming? Yeah, you're going to play video games, you're going to be paid for those video games that you play, you're going to stream yourself, you're going to have this camera, you're going to have this nice setup, and you're going to have this big following, and you're going to become famous. And they're like, all right, check, can I get the check? They're probably like not talking to me anymore because they would have never believed it. Nobody would ever believe this, but honestly, this has been in our past for all our lives when we played video games. If it be the backseat gamer at our house, if it be your best friend, or if it be your brother, sister, family member. Your dad walks in, your mom walks in, even though they didn't know what the hell the game was about, they walked in, they looked at you, they said, oh, what are you playing, sweetheart? And you said, Mom, I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm killing noobs. And they would have been, oh, that's great, sweetheart, keep up the good work. You're doing, oh, you killed them, or oh, you died. And you're like, Mom, get out of my room, right? One way or another, right? So Twitch now is a growing and ever expanding website. It's used its technology and its great advances to kind of take that to people. And everybody seems to be interested and intrigued in watching other people play video games. I don't know what it is, but it really hit off, no matter what the stream may be. And there's, of course, different personalities and different ideas between their different Twitch streamers. But ultimately, it's the same thing. You watch this person play a game, and or now we have other things such as podcasts now added to Twitch. And we have the creative button, which, you can draw or do other things of the sort with Twitch, which is also an amazing feature and expansion of Twitch. But you could do all these things with Twitch and it just really captures everybody's mind. Well, some things that I wanted to talk about is one specific idea that somebody came up with, a genius at the time, was Twitch plays Pokemon. I don't know if this was Twitch itself, I can't remember off the top of my head, or if this was some genius that was like, hey, we're going to show you the game and we're going to let Twitch chat control this. Now this was genius. This got the community all together. It didn't matter how old, young, small, trollish you were in that chat. Up, down, left, right, up, down, start, left, right, up, down, open, close, up, down, up, left, right. It didn't matter. You were there, you were doing it. Thousands of people, 10,000s of people were in that chat enjoying this and having a great time. Even though it killed the Twitch servers, they were having a great time. And this was brilliant. It got everybody interactive, it was involving everybody, and it didn't matter how bad or good video games were, it was everybody together and it was a joint effort. Eventually, Twitch had to close that down because it was fucking up the servers. I mean, it was really messing it up, and I think they got pretty far. From what I heard, they beat the Elite Four. I didn't keep up with it. I was in there a few times, and it was just when the chat goes too fast, it's like an epileptic seizure for me. I'm like, what's going on? No offense to anybody that has epilepsy, but seriously, like the chat goes too fast, and I start getting a headache. Honestly, this is why I can never become a big streamer. But on that note, So then we had some things that branched off of this, and this is where I kind of get kind of weary on the whole ordeal. The first was the Twitch, or not the Twitch, but the fish that play Street Fighter. Now this was an interesting concept, but wherever the fish swam in the bowl, the Street Fighter dude would do. So if they swam forward, they would punch, they would kick. If they swam down, whatever the case may be. And then this kept people intrigued too, even though it wasn't as interactive. You still had people watching and cheering for one fish or another, whatever the fish's names would be. I can't think off the top of my head. But this was also an interesting concept, and I like the idea of, you watch the fish swim one way, and then you watch the Street Fighter guy move forward, right? Whatever the case may be. Now this is where I get worried. And before I continue, no, I'm not condemning or condoning Old Spice or Twitch for doing this. I mean, one, Twitch is a business and they need to expand their business, and one is reaching out to potential business offers, which was Old Spice. Old Spice was brilliant, reaching out to a community that no other really company has reached out to, and really put forth an effort like Old Spice has done, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But two brilliant things here. Like I said, Old Spice pretty much beating every other company to this punch, in my opinion, if you don't count Razer as a company on Twitch. It's really one of the more companies that are outside of Twitch where it's just not gaming related, because they're like body wash and deodorant and all that stuff. And you have Twitch as, like I said, expanding their business options and gaining the money they can, because you gotta run the server somehow, and it's not free. Even though you can stream there free, it's not free. So anyway, Old Spice did this 3-day stream event that you were interactive and you could watch a stream, and the ad plays every time now when I'm in a stream and they play an ad, or the beginning ad, and the ad drops down with Old Spice, and the Old Spice shows off the stream of what they did, and it was great. I was in there for a little bit. The guy was playing on the banjos or playing the drums, and I was like, oh man, this is really funny. This is great. Random stuff. All of a sudden he's got broccoli, and you don't even know what's going on. And they say that it's interactive, and they had their emotes down below, and they were on their own little team. And this was all good advertising. But what got me wary, I should say, is how it was presented. Now, I know Old Spice is not a gamer. It's not like us. But let's be honest here. What I'm going to pick at here is when Old Spice went to sleep. So, Old Spice put this guy to sleep, and he's sleeping there, and he's got the little bubble. Dream bubble here, and it's him dreaming as a little boy playing catch with his father. I'm sure everybody can recognize this if you watch the stream. And this was going on for hours. This wasn't something that was like 30 minutes and all of a sudden, Old Spice was back at it again, doing a whole different interactive stream. No, this was pretty much him sleeping. And I know for a fact that if I was sleeping on stream and I had my little dream bubble going up and down, if anybody reported my stream would be turned off, and I could possibly be banned. Maybe not banned, but my stream would be shut down, and I wouldn't be able to keep it up, streaming a sleeping bubble, even if I was legitimately sleeping with a animated bubble of me doing the same thing over and over. This is where I kind of get worried. And also, it wasn't really interactive. It said you were interactive, and everybody was spamming in chat, and everybody was trying to get the right answer, because it was like, what's this answer? What is this? And everybody was spamming in chat. It was kind of preset. And it kind of takes away from what it originally branched to. Remember where we started? We started with Twitch Plays Pokemon. You controlled everything. Up, down, left, right, up, down, select, start, up, down, left, right. Whatever the case may be, you were controlling it. And then you had the branch off of the fish, which it was a little bit different ordeal, where you didn't really control it anymore, but you kind of were cheering for your own fish. Now here, it says you're interactive with it. You have your emotes, which it was also advertising for Old Spice. And it's I'm kind of sitting back and I'm like, okay, where are we? It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary what goes next from here, because you're wondering about who's the next person that's going to take the time and effort to do this. Now, Old Spice did a great job, but they were interactive, they were funny, strange, how they always are within their ads without, on Twitch, their ads on TV alone are kind of funny and strange, and it's always like that and keeps people intrigued. But it kind of worries me about what's the next step from here. So there's another sponsor, another ad person that really gets, this push, and everybody goes watches it, and you're kind of losing its essence of Twitch. You're losing that essence of actual gameplay. You're losing that essence of, hey, is this actually interactive? Is this, something the viewers can actually enjoy? You may be doing silly, stupid stuff, but can you actually enjoy this? And is this something that keeps to the Twitch norm. And when I say the Twitch norm, I'm not using Twitch plays Pokemon as the norm, but you know, you have your streams that actually play video games, or streams that are constructive one way or another, that are related, interrelated to video games one way or another. So going off that, you have your Twitch is becoming kind of like Reddit now. And what do I mean by that? Well, they have their teams. Their teams are like their subreddits. You know, you have Reddit as a whole, Twitch as a whole, you know, one way or another. And then you have these teams. Whatever team you may be on Team 2G or Team Best Team NA or whatever the case may be. There's a bunch of other teams. And you're kind of creating a subculture or a subreddit, you know, one way or another. What do you mean? Well, Reddit and Twitch kind of work the same ways. You kind of interlock yourself into this subculture. I'm not saying you can't leave that subreddit and you can't leave that team and watch other streamers because you're like, oh, I watch other streamers. This guy's not in Team 2G. Doesn't mean I watch all Team 2G. I'm not saying that. But, you know, you kind of generally, if you like Team 2G streamers, they have that certain personality, that certain niche to them. Like, you, for example, Trick himself, you know, God Deer, you know, D Kane. He just has that personality and he spreads that throughout Twitch, whatever the case may be. And then Blancola with his oh baby and his oh yeah, whatever one he does in his videos, and he's got his personality. And then those are both in Team 2G. Those are Team 2G personalities. You really see that. And whatever the case may be. And I'm not just picking on Team 2G, but Best Team NA, they have a certain personality. But you set this subreddit, and now Team 2G is taking it to a business level. They're using their team as an actual business orientation and using it as to kind of grab other streamers and bring more people into their team and more into their website and more into their like infrastructure. You kind of create this subculture. You know, it's like, oh, Team 2G, Team 2G, and most of the time, just using Team 2G as an example, they host other Team 2G streamers because now you can host and raid and all this jazz. And who do you host? Another Team 2G player. And then now you have the Team 2G boot camp, and you have these things. And I'm not downing Team 2G for being a business. This is business. This is what you're going to do. And I'm sure other teams can have the same advantage to do this. But you do create that subculture within Twitch. Yes, you have Twitch as a website, and then you have these subcultures with Team 2G being the most notable because they're the most that reach out to the community and most work as a business and use their team as something. And then you have the other teams. But you create those subcultures, you know, if it be hosting other Team 2G people within Team 2G, and you don't really get outside that box. And it's the same way with subreddits. You know, you follow something specifically, you keep all those people in that subreddit. Nobody really outside the box really knows about it until you're like, hey, there's a subreddit for this, or you need to be interested in that topic. For example, if I'm interested in Zoids back there, I look up subreddit for Zoids, and those are the people that follow Zoids. It may be 300 people, it may be 300,000 people, whatever the case may be, but that's a subreddit, subculture within Reddit itself. Even though you have Reddit as the main page, you keep people in those subcultures. And it's the same way in Twitch, and I feel like Twitch is going down the same road. You may disagree or may not agree, or may agree. Well, either way, it's understandable. So those were two things that are not, like I said, they're not like, oh man, no, you better watch out, you better be careful who you're following. No, that's not the case at all. But just some things that are worrying more so the branch off of Twitch Plays Pokemon. Now you have this Old Spice going to 3 days, and like I said, he's sleeping for long periods of time, and he just has people watching him sleep. And if I was doing that, or if another streamer was doing that, it's questionable. Would you or would you not be punished or turned off? Would somebody be like, hey, what is this dude doing? Even though I'm not related to a team or an advertisement, would I hold the same grounds, you know? That was something. But then also the subcultures, like I said, which is interesting. You know, I didn't really see Twitch as creating a subculture, but now that I look at it more and more, and Team 2G with the options or the paths that they're deciding to take, you know, it is becoming more of a subculture, more of a, hey, you know, you should follow this team, only these team members are the best of the test, and Team 2G personalities are the best Team NA personalities, or whatever team you enjoy or are in, these are the best personalities, and I appreciate my team, whatever the case may be. Now, last but not least, everybody's like, oh boy, here it comes, here, boys. We're going to be talking about the trademark. Oh, what I've been waiting for. A lot of people have been asking me, what do you think about this trademark thing? And I asked a few streamers, streamers that had sub buttons, some that didn't have sub buttons. They said, what do you think? And a majority of the people that didn't have a sub button was like, yeah, okay. My jaw kind of dropped. I was like, do you not see what's going on here? But I asked some people with the sub button, and they're like, "Hey, that's kind of that's kind of bad. That's kind of bad." And now there's an article. If you don't know what's going on, there's an article released that Team 2G has trademarked the term sub wars into copyright issues. So anybody that's not in Team 2G, they kind of go there and do a cease and desist letter that says, "Hey, stop using this. This is our content," right? Now, a few things that I wanted to pull up off the top of the bat is one, the Team 2G trademarking this. You don't really have a definite person who really started the concept. It wasn't really Trick going to the definite concept of him starting it. It was really, this was on a website, but it says that Dyrus and Kaox were one of the first two people that I can remember that were back in 2008, 2012, maybe not 2008, that was too long, but 2012, 2013 maybe, that they were really like, hey, Sub Wars, they were really kind of came up with this idea, and Trick wasn't really the first person that really came up with the idea or name itself, but, arguments aside, that kind of argument is done. But I wanted to read something from Esports Law. He's a lawyer here for esports, and he says, also, I want to make sure everyone is clear on what this means. The trademark simply gives T2G protected rights in the word subwars. It doesn't mean Team 2G owns a concept of subwars and can prevent all streamers from playing games with subs or arranging them in the same way, limited to the same division. Streamers can simply call the sub or something else if they don't want to avoid this issue. Now, yeah, a lot of people could avoid this issue and just kind of, call it what it is. But some things that stick out for me. One, it's that sub wars in itself is a broad topic, and if if the people in the trademark area knew anything about Twitch and knew anything about sub wars, which I think they didn't really know anything about, only if they were like our generation or younger, they would have been like, no, subwards is more of a general term. I mean, everybody uses it. It doesn't matter. It's like a band-aid. Band-aid was determined as a general term. Everybody calls it a band-aid or bandage, whatever the one that be a general term. It's just general. You can't sue or copyright that because you can't copyright that name because everybody uses it. Oh, I need a band-aid. I need a band-aid. It doesn't matter if I'm here across the world. Band-Aid's a generalized term. Same thing with subwords within Twitch, and I think if people at the copyright area knew that, they would not have used that as a term to be trademarked overall. Now, another way is, secondly, the argument where you can fight this is kind of already worn off because the trademark went through a while back, and this was posted a while back, and then it kind of got ignored. And then all of a sudden it got popular, and now it's a big deal, and everybody's freaking out about it. Will it affect Team 2G overall? No, I don't think it's going to affect Team 2G overall. I don't think it's going to affect Team 2G or hurt Team 2G one way or another. They could lose a few fans, but I doubt it. I think your loyal fans of Team 2G people and the people that trademark Team 2G are not going to have a big deal with this. And if anything, it's just like, hey, not a big deal. I think the general population that didn't really follow Team 2G or already hated Team 2G for one way reason or another, if it be Trick 2G himself or other people within Team 2G, then I think this isn't our reason. They're like, oh, Jesus, I can't support this. This is ridiculous. But like I said, earlier, you have your subcultures, and that goes right into Team 2G. You have those people that always follow Team 2G, one Team 2 streamer to another, and, with the hosting and all that jazz, I don't think they're going to be really affected. There's a big flow of people one way or another. And last but not least, there's still time that you can be like, hey, this is a general term, if people want to come out from TSM or other people that on stream that really have a big deal with this and really care about this, they could still go and fight the trademark. They can say, hey, this shouldn't be trademarked because it's a general term. I mean, generally, if enough people are getting harassed and enough people are pushed to this direction, which it seemed the article indicated from Richard Lewis, which I'll link down below, that, Team 2G has talked to people with subwords in their titles. Well, not so much in their titles, but actually on their screen and in their title, I guess. They were telling them, hey, don't use that term. And if enough people can go and talk to the trademark people and say, hey, this is a general term, we have proof, we've been using this for a long time, there's a lot of people, general population uses this, then it could be overturned. It's not set in stone. I think a lot of people are like, this is set in stone, oh boy, what's going to happen? But if we do let this go through, and then we just let it go, keep happening and whatnot, people that actually want to use subwars one way or another, I think eventually will have to, one way, like pay Team TG one way or another, how much they earn from their subwars, or be interrelated to Team 2G. One way or another to use subwars, which is interesting itself, and I don't know how much that's going to work. And I don't know. This is where it gets really tricky because you're using Twitch, and you really can you really close down a Twitch channel, especially a popular Twitch channel that is not related to Team 2G, but it uses the term subwars? Will will Trick or whoever throws out these cease and desist go after those big streamers, such as, I'm just gonna throw out random names, but if Dyrus did a subwar and it was like got a cease and desist, will TSM argue the fact, be like, hey, this is a general term, blah 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 blah, or will they pay it? Will Team 2G get TSM, or will get these big popular streamers one way or another to pay them or use their name within the subwar somehow? So that's really up to that. And if the streamers want to do that, and there has to be enough streamers to go and talk to them. But ultimately, I don't think the streamers are going to lose anything from this. I don't think anything's really big, set in stone. It's just a money grab ordeal. It's a business move. It's a smart business move on Team 2G's part. And it was kind of funny itself because Team 2G viewers themselves cannot use Subwar's name itself without paying gratuity fee. Apologies, but like a 10% fee pretty much, which I found interesting itself. I thought once you're in Team 2G, I thought you could use the name freely, but not even then, because you have to pay a 10% fee. So I found that interesting too. I don't know if it's gonna stick. I think it'll die down, and I hope people, like I said, follow up on the consumerism thing. If this is really a big issue, if enough people complain about it, talk about it, it really can go away, because we have proof that it's a general term. Everybody uses this term. It wasn't just like a Team 2G thing. It wasn't like if you went to a Team 2G streamer, they're like, hey, Subwars, what's this? No, you generally know what it was when you went to a different stream. But that is it on that topic. Twitch in general. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy the content that you like, or enjoy me as a person and like the opinions that I put, make sure you subscribe, make sure you thumbs up and like this video, or share this video on your social medias, or leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about the Team 2G thing. Do you disagree? Do you think Team 2G stepped the boundary? Will you not support Team 2G anymore? What is going on? Why is Trick 2G doing this to us? Actually, side note before I go, a lot of people are giving a lot of slack to Trick 2G, but just to be clear, Trick does not completely own Team 2G. And I think a lot of people are confusing this, because when you first hear about Team 2G, you hear Trick 2G. And actually somebody created Team 2G before Trick was popular and famous, and actually had the group before Trick, and they kind of share ownership. And Trick 2G is like, I wouldn't say a co-owner. I think he's just as equal as the owner. But there is somebody else in power that I cannot tell you who that may be, but he's a different owner. He started the group, he started this whole idea, and he shares a lot of Team 2Gs, and I'm sure he had a big talk and play in this. So don't give the whole flack to Trick2G. It wasn't just Trick2G's idea, and he's got a whole management system above him that deals with all this ordeal stuff too. Because let's be honest, he's a personality, and a lot of personalities that you see on stream don't want to deal with the business ordeal. I mean, look at streamers when it was tax day. They're like, oh my god, tax day. What is like that was stressful enough. Like why would you run a whole business? So just a side note, because everybody thinks like Trick2G is like the only owner, makes all the decisions. There is an overhead, just to be clear. But thank you all for watching this video. Make sure you follow me on my social medias. Thank you, and comment down below. Like that video, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.